Three, two, one.
Boom.
Yeah, it's there.
All right,
It's
nice.
there. Good to see you, J.ROBB. Good
Oh,
to see
thanks,
you,
man. Good to see you as well, bro. Good to see you as well.
man. Where you? Are you in? You're in Los Angeles
I'm in
now,
LA,
if
bro.
I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
For now. I mean, you know me. I'm always like just going somewhere else. So like, yeah, man. You know.
I want to rewind back to when
Hmm.
I met you. You were a young man.
Yeah.
It was in LA.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know how young you were, but you were young, bro.
I had. I think I had just turned 18.
Oh,
Yeah, bro. Crazy, right?
wow. Yeah, yeah. I remember it was the selection. I want to say the 7 year anniversary. What it was like the
Six,
6 year
six.
anniversary.
It
It
was
was
a
like
6-1. Yeah.
2017, right?
Yeah, yeah. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
like in K Town, I think is where we all took a bus over to the venue, and I remember that distinctly. I have photos on my phone actually, and
Word, really?
that was before like kind of um like I think you had the selection release at the time, or maybe not. I don't know. My vision,
No.
my
I
memory's
don't-
blurry. Yeah.
I don't think so yet. I think it was still like pretty fresh. So yeah, I want to say I think it was the Promise Once More release.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
memory. Good memory. You're
Yeah,
young. You're
man.
young. You got that memory
Right.
still.
Exactly.
Uh, dang. Okay. Wow. That was a pretty insane moment. Um,
Yeah.
how often were you in LA before then, or was that?
I I I had been to LA maybe like once before. So that was like my second time.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
18. Jeez.
Outside, bro. We outside.
Outside. When the outside was a thing. When outside
Right.
was a thing out there.
Exactly.
Dang, man. Yeah. So you were young. Met you back then. Over the years, you've been quintessential. I would say like
Oh man.
such a important piece of the selection sound,
Oh, thank you.
and just outside of that, like I've had the honor to collaborate with you on the Play Nice stuff. Um, I remember what I want to touch into all these things, but kind of I don't really know you, so I want to kind of like kind of learn about that stuff, that history. So like the Asia stuff would be super interesting because I think the travel. It sounds like you got hit with like a travel bug of some sort, or
A
like
bit, a bit, a bit.
you're searching for something. What's behind that?
Um, I mean, I don't think I was really searching. I was just kind of just trying, like, just kind of just seeing shit, you know. So like my girl had went out there for a little bit, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll go too. Why not? Um, and then it ended up being like a whole like 4 to 5 month kind of thing where we're just kind of seeing shit, eating food, hanging out, you know. Um, but like I had been to like Tokyo like once before, so um like it wasn't like my extremely like super first time going there, but it was pretty it was pretty cool to kind of just to kind of like see like what else what else the world has to offer. Like you go places like as a DJ or whatever, you're there for like maybe a day or two, and then that's it. But yeah, that time around it was pretty chill. Came back home after like I think 5 months. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like when you travel, like you like grow a bit and some shit. So you know, um, and then just like your whole perspective on like life is like super different too. So I'm very like lucky that I got to be able to like do that at like how old was I? Like maybe 20. So
Right.
like
Good.
pretty tight
Good.
experience.
That it's very. I feel like it's crucial. Like I think when I think of like growing up and what the world was and like not really knowing and then kind of seeing it, it really does humble you too.
Yeah.
Like to know that there's way different walks of life.
Yeah, there's way more like just in life in general, than like maybe where you grew up or like what you think because like you don't really know until like you until it's in your face and you're like, oh, like it can be as simple as like, oh, they drive on a different side of the street, or like I don't know. It you know there's so much in the world to see. Um, so like I think if people have the opportunity to do so, like it's super crucial to like just go for it. You know?
Yeah. I think I got the timeline mixed up. So you did this after, like, kind of once you started DJing. So you started,
Yeah.
or was this outside of music?
Um, Let me get the timeline right. All right. So I was home. I was home in Baltimore. Um, I had been DJing. I mean, I had DJed here and there, but like I wasn't really seriously touring until maybe like 2017. Like
Yeah.
I think after like the 6 years when it kind of got to go places. Like I think I did my first headline in Orange County. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just like starting the whole like, oh, all right, we're gonna go like play shows and shit, and like I do, I was so nervous the whole time, just that whole like era, and then yeah, we did that, and then uh Joe and them ended up sending me to Europe,
Sounds
just
like
like
a military mission. Like,
I mean, but like sometimes I look at it as like, all right, cool. Like it's like your introduction to like, your
hmm
job. So like the best way to find out is to literally just throw you out there and just, and then you kind of just figure it out. So like we did OC and then they sent me to like Europe, and then I was in Europe for like maybe like 2 weeks, just kind of just playing like I think we did ADE, and then and I hit Berlin and then like Barcelona and like just a bunch of like places I never would have thought I'd be in the first place. Um, and then we came home, and then like I had been playing shows in like New York and like just shit like that.
right.
Um, and then into 2018 is when I moved out of my mom's house, bro,
Oh,
which was which was
was she
like,
sad?
nah, man. I
No.
mean, I'm sure she was, but like she seemed pretty excited, you know. Um,
Was she supportive of your music endeavors up until that point? Like, what was baby J.ROBB like? Like pre
pre
adult?
pre-adult. I mean both my parents have been pretty like supportive, I think, for the most part. Like for them it's just like, all right, well, if you know what you want to do, then like just do it. Like just just go. Like in high school I kind of knew I wanted to make music. I just didn't really know in what capacity or like just how. I was like, oh, I like making like beats or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna have a career for like selling beats. Um,
Were you
which
doing like Beat Stars or those like kind of beat selling marketplaces?
I mean, I think back then it was what was this? What was the website? It was
SoundClick?
SoundClick. Yeah,
SoundClick.
SoundClick.
Yeah.
Crazy. Um,
Crazy to think about, like people put a lot of marketing, like they like branded themselves on that.
on
Like I knew a
SoundClick, and
couple
like
people, yeah.
they're popping, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't have a SoundClick or anything like that yet, cause I don't know if I. For me, it's just like I don't think my beats are good enough yet for SoundClick. So like I just put them on SoundCloud and like just show them to like my local rappers or whatever, or like the people I went to high school with, and then like you make a few songs. I think they're still on SoundCloud too. Like I think I forget what I was doing, but I came across like a whole like at least like six of them from like old beats from like when I was like a junior in high school, and I'm like, it's not bad. It's pretty okay.
It's
Uh,
pretty.
like it's not bad. It's pretty okay. I
What
definitely
what were they sounding like? What was the
just
what was the
I mean just I think it's so funny when you start out. You're kind of like imitating and like just trying to like I guess like figure out how to even make music to begin with. So like it sounded like either like stuff on the radio, like I mean this is like what 2013, 2012. So like Chief Keef beats or like early future type beats or like Metro Boomin, like shit like that. So like but then like there's like a little sprinkle of like, oh, my like, whatever, like my ear, like my uniqueness is in it, cuz like I don't know, there's some weird beats in there too. Um but yeah, what a time. So like
What a time.
yeah, so I did that for a while. I knew I wanted to make music. Um so like I think I kind of picked my career like in high school. So like you go to like your counselor or whatever, and he's like, "Yo, so what do you want to do with your life?" I'm like, "Oh, like I want to be a music producer," and he goes, "Why?" And and he's like, "All right, like how like you want to be like a composer, like just the school shit." So like they're like, okay, you should apply for college and like go take a music program. And I'm like, I mean, I don't think I have Berkeley level talent, so any college I'm going to is not going to be what I'm looking for. um so like, and also I didn't even know Berkeley existed back then. So like for me it's just like, all right, I'm gonna go to like the college in my in my city, was just like Towson University. And I'm like, I'm not really trying to do that. But I I ended up applying anyway, because my mom's like, well, you gotta apply somewhere, If you don't know what you're doing yet, then you gotta, just try and figure it out. So I went to this place called Frostburg State, which is like
It's a dope
the
name.
which
That's
is
a dope name.
it's a dope name. That's the only thing dope about it, bro. It's like in like Western Maryland, like, so like what in like in a it's in a spot like above you it's like Pittsburgh and like Western Pennsylvania, below you is West Virginia. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a weird like spot to be in. Um,
Quite the pocket.
Quite the pocket indeed, bro. Definitely was out of my element for sure. And I did not like it. So like I did one semester and I was like, yeah, nah, this is not it. But luckily, SoundCloud was still a thing, and like I had been uploading for like a while, but nothing really happened until literally like the week I got to college. I put up like I was like, all right, I'm gonna do like a EP or whatever. Like, why not? I made a bunch of beats. I got a bunch of artists on it, and like it was like my first real thing that I've ever done, and it kind of worked. I was like, all right, cool. Like we got fans. We're at like 2,000 followers on SoundCloud. That's crazy.
Wow.
And like
That's great, man. From just like from nothing to something like that.
yeah, it was so like it was so crazy how it happened. Like week one, I put it up. Maybe a month later, all right, cool. We got like 2,000 followers. Yo, that's like from going to like having like 100 plays be like your threshold of like yo like to like, oh cool, we're getting like 10K plays on like just this random beat I threw up or whatever. That kind of gave me the motivation and I think the balls to even be like, all right, yeah, we're not doing college anymore, So like probably like after that first month, like I stopped going to class. Like I just wake up, go grab Chick-fil-A, come back and make more music. Um, and it paid off. When winter break came, I was like, nah, I'm not going back. I played my first show like ever. Like I got to there's this thing in back home that they do called Beat Trip, where like they'll just invite like a bunch of producers to kind of like just play beats and then like people come and like freestyle or whatever. Um, which was pretty, which I thought at the time I was like, yo, that's like the coolest shit ever. Like you got like hometown heroes at like Techlun or like U4 or like all these people that like I looked up to because I'm still like a child. So like I I got to meet these people and like play beats and they're like, bruh, like you're crazy. And I'm just like, and then like and then they paid me on top of it. And I was like, you can get paid for shit like this? Wait a minute. You know? Which was pretty tight.
Those things are
Um
important. I feel like in this stage in particular, like getting like a recognition, but also like seeing that there's like potential for what makes you happy. Because like I feel like in that stage, that time, that era, it's like you kind of just throw yourself full in, and like
Pretty
you kind of
much.
don't have any peripheral vision. It's
Mm-mm.
just like this unadulterated focus
Yeah.
to
So
just making shit.
it's so crazy. Like I think about that back then versus now. I'm like, bro, I wish I had like just the level of energy that I had when I was
Mhm.
first starting. Like just all day nonstop. Like
Mhm.
just like the most outlandish idea you can think of, you just do it because like you don't
Yeah.
have what else are you gonna do? You know?
It's
Um,
interesting where that like there's something as you it's really admirable to me to see like people taking risks in music like
yeah.
throughout the long term of their career. Like I don't like on the producer tip. I feel like there's a lot that stuff is harder and harder to like gather as you like continue. You know, like
Yeah.
being like taking something that sounds super off and like having the balls to like throw it in there and like try to make it work. And yeah, I think as things get more serious, it's like those kind of risks become fewer and far
Yeah,
between. You know.
of course, because like, all right, you're here now, so
Mm-hmm.
like, do your job, like, make sure you like, you think about shit like mixing or like,
My
just
shit was like red all the time, and
fam.
and I had no care. I had no care in the world.
Me neither. I
Yeah.
I think that was just the time period of when you're starting. It's kind you're not thinking about like from
Mm-hmm.
a consumer point. You're thinking about just like what sounds good to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I know you're the king of that clipping too, like and making it work like more like it's stylistically in the DNA of the music that you make. Like
right? Yeah.
not necessarily like everything's clipping, but just like that sound to it. Like
Yeah, for sure.
um yeah, which I think is like Berkeley kids would like barf at the thought of it, you know,
Yeah.
whereas like it's coming from a place of purity, really.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I feel that. I mean, like I don't think I've clipped in like a while.
Right, right.
Um, I learned what a compressor was,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, wait, so we don't have to go red, but we can still make it sound loud. All right, cool.
Sounds
Um,
red.
exactly. Like you think it's red, but it's not.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I'm trying to remember what was in the story. But yeah, sidetrack. A few years before that, I didn't know what like selection was or like just any of this whole like genre or like you can like just do different shit and like it can be like cool. Like I didn't know it was a thing. Like I remember I had been doing remixes anyway, but like you know like it wasn't like connecting like with me and how just like how different the sound can be. Um, I remember it was my senior year of high school. So like this is when like I was like barely going to school. Like you had half days and then like you get lazy, so you wake up late, you go into school like you miss 2 periods and shit. Like shit like that. But I remember walking to school one day and then I think it was 186, like episode 186 or some shit. Um, and yeah, I'm just listening to it. I'm like, yo, this is like this is crazy. Like this is exactly like the kind of music I wanted to make. I just didn't know I could make it. You know what I mean? Um, so like that definitely introduced me to like just like where you could go with music, and then like watching like the boiler rooms and all that shit. I'm just like, yo, you can go outside and like play your beats for money in a club, and people like, damn, nah, no way. So like, yeah, that was definitely like the starting point. And then once I got to college, and then like the EP thing happened, and then like we're getting like XXYYXX reposts and shit like that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like,
Oh, that's like might as well be a Spotify playlist.
yo, for real,
Yeah.
like just
The reposts
just
were playlists back then. For
yeah,
sure.
man. Like just the reposts from any like big artist would like cement you for like the day, like
Mm-hmm.
that. I think I got a Sango repost at one point. I was like, bro, we're living, we're here, we made it. Like we're never coming back to this Frostburg. All right, fuck y'all, I'm out of here.
Uh,
I'm not even going to class anymore.
I'm retiring.
Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm done. Um, but yeah, I left. I was at home. I worked like a little job. Um, uh, yeah, and then like I remember I bought my first tractor. I bought a tractor S4. I was like, all right, cool. Like we're gonna learn how. We're gonna, like I'm like, all right, we're gonna learn how to do this because like now that I know it's a thing and like it's reachable and like I got my first like I made like $180 from like that show back home. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, bet this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna aim high. We're gonna, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep dropping SoundCloud remixes that are way too loud, and we're gonna get shows. We're gonna go play shows in like DC or Virginia or New York. And yeah, I from then on it was just kind of like an ongoing thing, and then like my parents saw that like, all right, cool, like it's something that works, and you have potential to like make something out of it. So like, go for it. And here we are now, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot in between then. Like you've really like from back when I met you to now, like hearing that background is super interesting to me. Like where people's paths lead them, because like there's many opportunities where you could have been like, nah, this isn't gonna
Yeah,
work, or like, so it's the common thread I find with a lot of like artists and producers is like they kept going, like they just didn't give up.
yeah,
And I think what we have in common is kind of that pivotal moment with selection, and like what that can do to you in that journey, like in that mindset of
for
like,
sure.
yeah, having a platform, like a big platform. And at the time it was like, damn, I remember SoundCloud posting. I mean, now that shit's dead for me, at least. I don't know anybody that's like posting anything and is like
Right.
excited. But like, no harm to SoundCloud, but it's just the truth. But
Hmm.
like, I remember I'd post something and then it would get instantaneous, like whatever the
Yeah,
algorithm was back
crazy,
then
brother.
was, that needs to happen again. But there's just a lot more traction with stuff that you output. So there's um a lot more like motivation for whoever's
Yeah,
posting to continue doing that. And I think those things are really important for an artist, because as much as we don't want to admit it, I think we all kind of overthink things and feel at certain points like, is
for
this
sure.
worth it? So having that instant kind of feedback loop with the audience or with people that appreciate it is like really important for the longevity.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
and there's periods where that shit dips off and you're like, oof,
Bro.
this is a dark
Yeah,
place.
look, man. I mean, like, just even back then when like SoundCloud was like popping, I guess for like producers like us and shit. Like, I'm like super notorious for like deleting shit, right? Cause like, so for me, right, I'm young, so I'm like, all right, this shit's ass. They don't like it. It's gone. Like, nah, it's gone. But then like I think something that I learned well a lot later in life was like sometimes like the instant thing doesn't mean it's like not connecting with people. Um Sometimes people just don't need to say anything. Sometimes they just fucking like it. Um like you can be out in the street somewhere and then someone goes, yo, this one song, and I'm like, you know that song? That's crazy. um yeah, and that's something like I had to learn like a lot, just kind of like growing up a bit, like just like what the purpose of making music is. Like I definitely got lost in like the whole like feedback loop, and like the comments say it's good, then it's good. Like the comments shouldn't really dictate if it's good or not. um you know so you kind of lose focus on like why you make music in the first place. But I think again, for anybody that loves music and like sticks with it, you usually find your way back anyway. To where like I feel like now currently I'm starting to get to a place um where like I enjoy what I make, and like I'm not too worried about if other people like it. I mean, obviously I gotta eat, so like I want to get paid, and like I hope you do like it. But like if you don't, I'm not gonna take it that critically. You know,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
just you know it's just music. It's just something that I do because I like it, and I just
Right.
happen to get income from it. You know.
That's the thing too, man. Back to like taking risks when you're just starting out too is like none of this stuff was in the line of sight. Like
No.
it was all coming from the love of making music and having fun doing it. And that's where I think, yeah, you're right. Like that feedback loop could lead to a place to where you're kind of comparing your latest track to your last track and like
Right.
um and it is I think you're right. I think there's ways to kind of enter that and then exit that mentality, and then and that might just be the case, to some extent. But at the end of the day, is you're absolutely right. Like you need to eat, and
Yeah.
you need to pay bills. So like there's an element of like a balance, I guess, of those things, like those
Definitely.
risk taking, and then also yeah, that side of it. With the remix stuff, um how how did you kind of like from your side of it, and with your ear, what were you kind of looking at in records, like vocally,
I,
that you were kind of like really really fucking with?
I mean, for remixes, it started out really just remixing songs from my childhood. Like to be quite honest, like I mean, I think for a time I was like known as the guy that like remixes '90s R&B and just like makes into just whatever. That and just Drake, you know, like so like
Never
yeah,
miss with Drake. You're
yeah,
like,
you can never miss with that dude. So like yeah, for starting out, it was really just like the songs I kind of grew up on, um, and just sort of like my take on it. I discovered what Dilla was, you know, dude. I was super late to like everything, but I think it's just an age thing, right? Um, so like that sparked a whole new like side of me, like creatively. Like I'm like, oh okay, like there are things you can do within music that are like that just hit different, you know. I definitely fell in love with like that sound, and then I kind of wanted to like do my own versions of it and like kind of like make it weird and like um I think for a long time my goal was to kind of like, all right, if someone were to combine like Dilla with like fucking I don't know like Kanye and Metro Boomin, what the fuck would it sound like? And I kind of aimed for that for a long time. Um, yeah, and I think the more I got introduced to like touring and like the whole DJ world, that brought like a whole new side of me out, like making like okay, like this would sound good in a club, or like this would sound good at a show, and like all right, I got to think about like what do people like, what what like what makes someone like a song. I think it's a bit of like it's like that in between point of like being familiar but also like it being new, because like if it's too familiar they're gonna think of the song that it sounds like, but if it's too new they're gonna be like what is this, you know. Sometimes you get really lucky with playing something completely different and like it working, because I think that's just how music works anyway, but that sweet spot is always like um the familiarity with like something new. So like I think that's why like I stuck to like the 90s R&B acapellas or like the early 2000s shit or Drake or like whatever current new song is like cool or like that I like obviously. Um and then like we you kind of blend it, and then that leads to like a successful like touring set, and and you get to sell trash tapes and shit like that. So,
hmm
like it works to a degree,
right.
you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like the science behind like the formula behind,
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
for sure.
No, totally. And I was talking with Joe the other day about, we are just catching up on like DJing, and like where he's at with it, and I was telling him like, for me, I don't, I love DJing initially as a producer because I
Yeah,
didn't have to like say shit. Like I didn't have
exactly,
to put
bro.
myself out in that way,
Yes, I
you
I,
know?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I felt like
A hundred
safe.
percent.
And 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 for me it was like the happy medium of like performing but also like showcasing my work. So
Exactly.
that felt super good. But then over time, as I started DJing, I noticed that my my production was being catered to
Yep.
a live set, which
Of
then
course.
kind of I found myself at a certain point like I think the last show I played was like 2019, 2018, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found myself making music for DJ sets
Yep.
and getting people moved versus the shit that I actually listened to because everything that I listened to and streamed was like not
Yeah,
what I was making. So did that ever play a
bruh.
factor into your production?
Absolutely. I think probably the biggest case of that, ironically, is I think the Trash 3 series, or the third Trash 3 was like, that's like everyone's favorite. That's like the pinnacle of like,
Mm.
this is club music. Like, this is, you play this shit, you can play this whole thing in the club, which is what I toured a whole year off of, just playing that. Um, However, there's the back end of it where like, I barely listen to this shit like regularly. Like, I think at the time, like, I was listening to just Playboy Cardi leaks and like, and just Monty Booker. Like, that's what I love dearly. Like, just upbeat, really just cool, weird music. So like, playing like, like, or just making the kind of like club-esque music, or like this sort of shit you can dance to, where like blending like every top 40 song into this one song, or like, just it's cool. It's really cool, and I'm glad I know how to do it. But it does lead you to a point where like, you don't know how to make music for like that you like you're constantly sitting there and trying to make something, and all you can think about is like how it's going to be received, and like, are we using the right sounds, or like I need to find the most current acapella, or I need to like find a sample that like we all know, but I need to flip it in a way to where like people go, oh shit. um so like, yeah, that was 20, I think that came out in 2019. Which is, so yeah, April of 2019. I put it out on my birthday, so like I turned 21. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I had just left Brooklyn. I was home for a few months, just like at my mom's house, just kind of just like chilling. My girl went to Asia, so like I was literally just alone. So like I was like, all right, cool. We put out Trash 3. It's doing great. Um, all right, like, and then you're kind of just stuck. You're like, all right, cool. We did the big project. The big project's done. Like, what do I do now? And normally it would be like, oh, let me just make some beats or whatever. But like, I just genuinely did not feel like it. I'm like, nah. It feels kind of stale. Be kind of doing the same thing. I keep making the same type of shit. So like, I spent a lot of time, I guess, trying to like just live life, honestly. Which is it was kind of why I went to Asia. Like, I was like, all right, I mean, I'm just gonna try things, and then I'm in like Bali trying to make beats, and like it doesn't feel the same. It feels foreign almost. So like you kind of got to get through that and like figure out what you like again,
Yeah, I
which
know
is
that feeling.
which is rough. You're
That's a
like,
rough feeling.
damn, is this it? It's like I'm just here in this tropical place, and I can't make a thing.
A goddamn thing.
You know,
I
and
know
like
that feeling.
I had a few like I made a few beats, and then like I'd put them on like my Mr. Surf account or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I literally brought that back because I was like, I can't like this whole like, I mean, I kind of compartmentalize it as like J.ROBB's like the official public figure. Like, all right, this is like I put all my good songs here, and I do everything calculated or whatever. Whereas with the Mr. Surf page is just like I'm just getting out the ideas because you got to get them out. So like the Mr. Surf page just became like the graveyard for just like any ideas that I had. And ironically, they're some of like my favorite things I've made, and they were received pretty well, even for like SoundCloud standards post 2016. Like we're still doing like hundreds of thousands of plays on these songs, and I'm just like, all right, cool. So like that was a much needed boost too. You know, like all right, like when I make things that I genuinely enjoy, I think they come out okay, and then they're received in the same manner. So like I'm like, all right, cool. Like I think I can like learn how to like or relearn how to make things for myself. Um and then yeah, and then from that point on, like I'm still touring or whatever. So I'm literally just playing like just the shit from the year before or the Trash 3. And that's cool, but it gets old. I, it gets old if I think like if your heart's not in it and like you kind of DJing to please the crowd instead of like please yourself, it gets super old. So like I did I did like a tour around Asia for a bit, and then I ended it with an Australia tour, which was really cool. I had a good time, but like after that, I think I got COVID like early, like before it was. I swear it was COVID because like that wasn't a cold, that wasn't the flu. I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I'm gonna die. Like like my lungs didn't work for like 3 days. Like it was really bad, and I still had to play shows.
Nah.
Yeah,
Tour will
but
do that, man. Tour, like especially with that, like what you just said about like energetically you're pleasing the crowd versus yourself. Like
Mhm.
that will drain your soul.
Oh yeah,
And then you mix that with like long nights. You mix that with maybe a little alcohol or something else. It's like,
yep.
yeah, you're on the path to die if you
Es-
continue that way.
Essentially, like tour ended and we did the recap video like at the end, bro. Like it's on Instagram and YouTube somewhere. I sound like I'm dying, like literally. I'm just like,
Oh no.
like we went to record it and like I had like a crazy fever. I'm like shaking on the couch and they're like, all right,
Nah.
you ready to record? I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Like I can barely talk without just like like coughing up just like shit. I'm like, bro,
Oh.
this was like 3 months before like the COVID thing. So I'm like, I feel like it was
Oh.
that for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, you probably did. You probably did.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm over
crazy.
there, so like it's even more prevalent.
Yep, exactly.
That was crazy.
Exactly.
So I came home to Atlanta like and like I literally just had to
Spread that shit
reevaluate my
everywhere.
life. No. It chilled out. It chilled out by the time I got home because I spent like a week in Bali, just like in my room and just
Yeah.
outside in the sun and
Yeah.
shit. Before I came
Ooh,
back to the states.
a fever in Bali sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's
Like
hot.
it's hot
You're
out there.
sweating all the time. Like your insides
Mhm.
feel like they're burning. Like
Mm.
you're hot and you're just coughing all the time. Um, and then unfortunately, I got some of the tour group sick as well.
Yeah.
They're like at home, like,
Ugh.
yo, I don't know what you have, but I got it, and like
Yeah.
that whole shit started.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came home and like I had to just like reevaluate just my life in general, like, cause like not only did it reflect in music, but also just like my own personal life and like relationship life and like just like I guess kind of just where I was with myself. Like I'm like I don't know how to like make myself happy. Like I'm just like I was kind of like I kind of put myself in this box of like I do everything for like to please other people like musically, and then it kind of it carries over into like just everything you do. So yeah, I moved to Atlanta. Quarantine happened. I was like divine timing. Like all right, cool. I'm gonna sit in the house and just like be with myself and shit, and like play Warzone all day, and like I don't know, just like learn how to like learn how to like I guess be me, if that makes sense. Um, which was pretty great. Um, and then yeah, we were just like I don't know, just at home, and then you're making music because you like it again, and then like um. Man, yeah, Trash Four was like a super reflection of that. That sounds completely different than like any other the other shit I've done. So like, I was pretty like proud of like just like what came out after like that
Mhm.
long period of like trying to figure out yourself and shit. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, man, yeah, man.
Good.
Long story, but yeah.
No, no. I mean, the story is continuing too. Like, there's a couple things. There's something you mentioned too. Like, I, I would be curious if you're open. Like,
Mhm.
on the relationship side, how has that been being a producer? Because for me, it takes a level of narcissism to focus and do what you need to do, and like keeping the energy in the house. Like I had a long relationship before my current relationship, and like
Hmm.
it's a juggle. It's a balance that both parties need to, be on board with
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
How's that journey been for you?
Um, it's been funny. I'll tell you that. Um, especially being young, like you don't really know. You don't know shit. You don't know what you're doing. Like you're just being a dickhead for like the majority of the time. So like relationship wise, like I had to grow a lot for sure. And also still try to like work and shit. So yeah, it has its ups and downs. Obviously, I think like everybody does. Sometimes they just get really amplified by like the level of work you do, the decisions you make. Um, but yeah, I think like I got to a point where like I kind of learned like how to like take care of myself first before I do anything else. Cause like if I'm not doing that, then like everything else falls apart. Like music, relationship, life, like all that shit's gone because like you're not doing what you need to do for you. Um, and also just like learning how to like uh be honest and speak about like what you feel and shit like that. That
Like
really
feelings,
helps.
feelings and shit.
Feelings and shit, bro. That was such a like that was such a hard concept for me to grasp. Like,
Mm,
what do you mean? Or like, I kind of would just like, yeah. I mean, I think it's just a dude response, but like, you're just like, oh,
totally.
whatever, it's fine. Well, well, you can figure it out, or
Right.
you like you don't really spend time like on shit like that, but like it catches up and it bites you in the ass. So like, you definitely gotta like check in with like how you feel about shit.
Yeah. Totally,
Um,
bro. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Yes.
man, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, communication too is like I mean, they're all like fundamental things that we all kind of like know, and
Yeah,
we hear these things, but like when they're actually applied, it's like very important. Like,
yeah, for sure. Like
yeah,
at application is much different than like just the ideas behind it.
totally.
Like literally having to speak about
Right.
things is like is it's still a concept that like I'm still learning about it, but like I think it's definitely helped overall in life, and like with all aspects, like if you have the ability to articulate yourself and like just be upfront about how you are and what you think and what you feel, like it kind of makes life a lot easier. And I feel like old people say that shit all the time, but like you don't really get it till like you got to get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, man.
That was another thing too you mentioned was like kind of the people pleasing side of it. I think from the not necessarily in relationships, but I think it kind of relates in this like self-reflective conversation, like
Yeah,
kind of knowing what's good for you, and
exactly.
like boundaries in that way. Like, and I think as a producer, I think from a music side, it's easy. At least for me, I'm speaking from my experience. Like reaching out to artists and expecting things to align, and then uh being my heart being broken over and over again because and it was all stuff that I was kind of like putting myself into,
Yeah.
and also, yeah, I don't know, you feel that way, like from
Um,
like a producer standpoint.
I mean, like I honestly, I feel like I just started like communicating with like artists in general. Like, I have my homies and shit like that I work with. But I've only been working with the homies up until this point. So like, especially like this year, like just things like going to the studio, often, which is such a hard thing to do, but like going there, talking to like other people, like just communicating with like the people outside of your circle, because like it's funny. As a producer, you want to produce for everybody, but like what that really means is like you got to be with everybody. Like your job is like to kind of facilitate and like create the best vibe and output for this person. Like your job is to kind of bring this person through and execute and finish like a song, you know, which is something like which is something I'm still not the most comfortable with, but like, you know, I'm trying to get through it and like just do it. Like I make the best things like just working alone at like three in the morning. Um, like every song I've made up until this point with other people has just been I'll send you the rough draft of the beat, you send me your vocals, and the song will be finished by like 2 days from now. You know, but not everybody works that way, and especially when you're like doing like music like industry shit. Like, nah, you got to go to the studio and like, all right, we're gonna make a song today, and like you gotta,
Do you
you know,
like that shit? Do you like going into a studio? Like, I mean, I feel like we're probably similar in the fact that like I'd rather just be at home in my
yep,
chonies
yeah,
than
man.
like yeah.
Like it's something that I have to get used to because like for the goals I want, you know, like it just requires you to just you got to be willing to go outside of like your comfort zone, you know, and work with others, or at least to build the relationships first, you know, because like you can't build relationships in the house with yourself through like text or whatever. Like you gotta like go and like you gotta show up and like have moments and like make things together and like eat and you know like just you know just it's always the small nuanced things that kind of build the whole just the whole package like that's how you know if you have chemistry, that's how you grow it. um so like yeah it's interesting. It's been a struggle to go to the studio often. Like now I'm at a point where I go like about once a week, which is like it's pretty good on for my standards for me going from like I used to go in like once or twice a month. Sometimes I'd skip a few months because you know I'm just like I'm at home making beats, but like unfor- unfortunately and fortunately the job is much more, it requires much more than just making beats because like how you gonna get them out, you know?
Right,
You know,
right.
like I could release a bunch of shit on Bandcamp maybe, but like that's not even that's not the ultimate goal, you know? The ultimate goal is to be able to create with other people and have things that like that people resonate with and like get fat pub checks and like go get syncs and shit, you know? Like and you're not gonna be able to do that if you're not willing to like break, I guess, the show, you know. Like I feel like most producers are kind of have that like they have their you know they have their thing that like works for them. Like you know if you have your studio or your house or whatever, you know where shit is, you know how things work for you. You invite people in if they're your homies to come work, but like you know sometimes you got to go outside too. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's been
it
fun.
it reminds me of that like back to the old people kind of mentality, but like simple is more.
Yeah,
Like that goes for music, but also for like who you are around and give your energy to, and like.
yeah,
But you mentioned something too, like um, you mentioned kind of like that's not to in order to be where I want to be. Like I have to be comfortable with the studio. Like where is that for you? Like your vision of J.ROBB in like the
I
next few
mean
years.
so like I mean like I have like my ultimate life goal, like about like just how I want to live. You know, like I want to wake up and like not have to think about paying shit. You know, um, and I just wake up, I just eat cereal and like fucking uh play Call of Duty or some shit. You know, like just regular shit, or like go out to like eat at a cafe like with like my girl and like you know just I don't know just regular normal stuff. And then like work goals are just like oh you know I'd like to hear something on the radio one day. I mean I know like radio's obsolete but it's still like just a you know it's still just a thing like you know like my grandma listens to the radio. I want you know like I want grandma to be able to hear something like oh you know oh you made this yeah cool or like my mom listens to the radio sometimes so like you know like I want to be able to go home like to Maryland and like maybe hear something like oh shit I made that that's crazy. um or just even or just I think just being able to work in any kind of field you want to work in, you know. I think when you're starting out, there's obviously limits. Like you kind of have to like show and prove yourself and like make music, make quality music, and then that's how you're able to like kind of do more things. Um, yeah, I think where I see myself is like I want to be able to like kind of just be free to kind of do whatever I want to do, life wise and like and production wise, um, like I want to be able to do a play nice, but in any field, like all right, cool. We're gonna come in. We're gonna make this cool. Now we're gonna go to this other side of music. Like, bro, like I want to make K-pop or some shit. Um, so there's work to do. I think making the music is just the factor that determines that. So like, you gotta be,
Right.
you gotta just make music, bro.
Right. Right.
You just gotta make music, man.
That's where it all stems from too. Like all this, that's the core of it
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
The Speaking of pub, so it you're to my understanding with Sony, is
Yeah,
that
yeah, 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 yeah,
something
yeah.
that, yeah,
Yeah,
I can talk about that or
Yeah, no, yeah, you
yeah.
can talk about
All right.
that. Yeah, joint venture, selection Sony. Um, yeah, it's a great situation, honestly. Like I'm super blessed to have it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's all worked out pretty well, surprisingly. I know there's like a bunch of stories about pub and like just how people have different gripes and shit like that. Um, but no, I haven't really had many problems. Like they've been pretty like they've been pretty great to work with. There's a team of people that like that make sure I get what I need. Um, and then they send the sync offers in and shit like like it's pretty chill. Um,
You've been getting syncs like consistently like year to year, or how's that side of
um,
the
I think the last 2 years I've gotten at least one sync a year. 2020, me and Devin got one. I think for the what show was that? For the well, I May Destroy You on HBO. Yeah, we yeah, no, I was like, oh, sick, that's fire. And then me and Elu J got a sync this past year for something else on HBO. I don't know. Shout out
Mhm.
HBO, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, I feel like that's the best network or whatever you call it. They just make the dopest shit. Like they have the highest bar of quality storytelling and
for sure,
cinematography. Like
for sure.
so that's big. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
I ask because like the sync side of things for me is just like so interesting, man. Like that
it's
it's
weird.
such a
I still don't get it, but like you know,
yeah.
like
Like there's
there's
a
a
lot of
whole
money in it.
there's a lot of money. Number one, I mean, I think show budgets like are just crazy, because like these are like shows that end up making like important cultural moments and like just money. So like I think when you invest a lot into a show, you'll get something like that. So um, most things have always paid handsomely. Now obviously you're splitting it with like three people. I don't sing or like write, so the songs that do get
But
plays.
you do. You do.
Nah,
Yeah. Well,
I,
yeah, I know what you mean though. Like
yeah,
on producer side, it's like,
yeah,
yeah, you're
like
cutting it.
I just make the beat and handle how it sounds. Um, but like, but yeah, sync is interesting. I don't have too much experience with it. I know people that are really heavy into it and know the codes and know who to call and like know like I've been to like a few camps where like it's where like they're purposely making things for sync deals or whatever. Um, yeah, those are always interesting. I'm like, it's so weird to make a song about something specific.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That's odd. That's odd.
that's not something I have a skill at. I'm not able to like kind of like craft a whole thing based off of this one specific thing that you want. You know?
Right, right. I have a singer artist friend who like, oh, I'm at a sync thing and I'll hear one of the songs, it's like, we're going to the top of the
Yo,
mouth, like that type of shit. I'm like,
it's
whew.
crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, but like, shout out you guys for being able to write this and like put this together and like just get it done. Um, yeah, unfortunately, I don't work that way. Like, I'm kind of like creatively, I'm all over the place. So like, yeah, I don't know.
I
But
hear that. I hear that.
shout out
Uh,
Sinks, man.
yeah, no, because I do think like as a from a if you're like strictly like a producer, like where we came up, it was like making beats essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know about this stuff. At least I didn't for a long time until I got it was one of these records from one of these Bandcamp albums I did, and it blew up because it synced onto like one of these videos. It got like 30 plus million views, and then
Oh,
it
that's
got
crazy.
kind of all this crazy stuff. But then it was like my first taste of like money, and I and I
Yeah.
and I fumbled the bag a little bit because I took too long to respond.
Mm.
But it was like $40,000 for one record
For
playing for
for
20
Sync?
seconds that they'll play over like the course of like dozens of weeks.
Yeah,
But
for sure. Wow,
um,
that's crazy.
it was
Shout
crazy.
out.
But then I took too long to respond, and they're like, "Hey, we moved on," and then I
Ah,
was like,
bruh.
yeah."
Yeah.
But that kind of opened my eyes to a whole different like, because growing up, I was like, "There's no way I don't even. I mean, first of all, I'm not even thinking about making money making the music.
Yeah.
But then at a certain point, I'm thinking like, there's no way. How am I gonna make money from this? And then all these things kind of you start learning these different elements and layers to the industry,
Mm-hmm.
into to the culture towards like, oh, okay, well, you can position certain things in certain ways and like know
Yeah.
people, meet people. So it's this really interesting, elaborate RPG game we're playing that.
Yeah, I mean, life itself is a joke in a game. So like, it's more so just like I think if you have an intention and you just stick with it, these things kind of just come anyway.
Mhm.
Like it's not something you have to chase. I think if you have to chase anything, it's probably not that great, and it's probably not even your thing to begin with.
Yes,
Like
sir. That's
like
a good one. That's a bar.
like something I've learned just from experiencing life is like I mean I haven't experienced much life, but like the past 5 years of it of being an adult is like just like it's funny how like shit just kind of just happens, and then something my girl says all the time is like you gotta trust and believe so you're ready to receive. Or it's like I'm like it's genius and it makes perfect sense. Like
My
it,
girl has that tattooed as a tramp stamp.
yeah.
No.
That'd be
That'll be
crazy though. But also that'd be like kind of sick too,
that would be, yeah. In like that LA lettering too.
bro. For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, that'd be hard actually.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good
not.
quote though.
Yeah, no. Look, man. Yo, she's got like 10 crazy quotes. So like she be feeding me like fucking affirmations and shit. They're all great. um,
Just 10. Just 10.
I mean, there's more than 10. That's just a number. She's wise, bro. She's wise. Um, but yeah, not just like life. Life's just kind of just funny how just shit always just lines up, and like it's kind of like if you're just like free flowing and like you kind of just like you're able to accept things pretty quickly in life. Like there's so many missed opportunities that like I've missed. Like there's so many things I haven't gotten to do, but I get to do other shit instead. Like it's kind of like a door closes, another one opens, or like 10 more open or some shit. Like, you know, um, like I left New York because like New York's too expensive, and I literally just could not pay it. Like I ran out of money. I was like, all right, bro, like dog. When I tell you like I'm 19. I just got my pub check. I'm like, bro, we're up. We're going to the Big Apple. We're gonna like, we're gonna go in. We're gonna get hella studio equipment. We're gonna like be in the studio 24/7. Like I don't fucking know like what production life is like, or like just the nuances of like, yeah, you're not making beats every day. the majority of the time you're at home, just like waiting for checks to call. Unless like unless you got like an artist and you're just cooking every day. But unfortunately, I didn't have it. I didn't have like I guess the the blueprint for like just success at that point. Like I was just like, oh, cool, I got my pub check. Like what I know now, it's like, bro, if I had literally just done like just anything different, I'd be in a totally different situation. But like, I think that's life. Like I'm like, bro,
Yeah, it is.
you've never seen that much. You've never seen that amount of money in your bank account in your life. Like
Yep.
you're gonna go pay 12 months of expensive rent. You're an idiot. Like, but like that's just what you do because like I don't know.
It's important. It builds character, man.
Yeah,
It
for
builds
sure.
character.
Like
Yeah.
you gotta go through it all to like really learn about like
Mm-hmm.
what's important to you and shit like that. But like
Mm-hmm.
I had to leave New York because I was I was behind on like 2 months, and the landlord was like, "All right, dog, look, you can leave and just pay me." I was like, "All right." So like I left. I sold all my shit to come up with like the rest of my rent money. I had to sell all my like equipment. I sold my desk.
Dang.
I sold like my keyboards and shit, bro. Cause like I spent like a good chunk of my budget on just dumb shit. Like we're getting like an 88 key keyboard. We're getting like the fucking big output desk and like subs and monitors and just a bunch of
Yeah,
shit.
all out, all
Yeah,
out.
I'm like, bro, we're here. We made it. Um, but nah, like I moved. I left home. Like I was kind of sad. I was like, damn, it didn't really work out how I thought it was gonna work out. Um, but shit ended up working properly. Like like I was like, all right, I'm gonna just I don't have anything else to do. My girl's in Asia. I'm gonna go to Asia. The minute I get to Asia, boom, we got like tours set up. Like oh word, like for the next like 3 months, you got shows in like every city, and like you get to like go to these places and like meet new people and experience things and like build connections and shit like that. Like I would have never known that like Thailand had like the most poppin' rap scene like ever. Like it's crazy. Like they got a Def Jam in Thailand, bruh.
Dang.
It's crazy.
Dang.
Like, but like you'd never know that. Like
What was your favorite spot out there in Asia?
my favorite spot. I mean my ultimate favorite. It will always be Tokyo. But because that's just like a different level of a place. But outside of that, Bangkok is fire for sure, and Bali's cool too. But that's more like like you go there and like you just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Like as far as like a bustling place, like Bangkok for sure has got it.
Did you
Like-
when you were touring, like did you have enough time to really like dive in and like walk around and
Oh,
get
for
rest?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like my shows would be pretty spaced out. So like I do probably a show or like a couple shows a month. I was there for like 4 months, so I ended up playing like maybe 4 or 5 shows in Asia, and then the Australia tour was like the cap off. But like yeah, I spent a lot of time in these places. Like I'm talking like months on end, maybe a month or two. Like I spent a month in Bali. I got that experience out. I was like, this is pretty tight, but like I'm bored. Um, like you can only go to the beach so much, Like we went to Bangkok. That was pretty. The food in Bangkok is amazing, bro. So good. Yeah. I got to spend a lot of time in each place and kind of get to know it and like form like I guess like a little connection with each spot. Yeah, I spent almost a month in Tokyo too, which is crazy. That
It's a long ass time, man. In each of these places, it's crazy.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's the best way to kind of like get to know like what a place is about, and then you kind of form like a real opinion about like what you like about it and shit like that. So yeah, man,
Yeah, for sure.
it was
Yeah,
cool.
I wanted to go because you mentioned Aluge. How did that project come to be? When I heard that record with Foggy Raw on it
Yeah.
too, so one of my favorites. Go Buddha. Yeah, what was that a similar situation to kind of what you were saying, like no studio time, just kind of sending the rough drafts, sending stuff back and forth?
Yeah. So me and EJ have like I've known him for like a while now. Maybe 4 or 5 years. And like we've always been cool. And anytime I would go to Oakland, he'd always pull up. And then he moved here to LA. Like I think like a year before me. So like the year prior. He actually lives he lives like 2 blocks from me, which is great. Um, but yeah, so like we had like a bunch of demos from like over the years. When I came back from Asia, I had my last tour stops like on the West Coast. So like I came back, we did LA. Did we do LA? I don't I'm Yeah, we did I think we did LA. I don't remember. We did like Seattle, LA. I think we did San Diego. I don't we did a bunch of stops. It was me and Abjo. Um
Big boy.
yeah. So oh and we did San Francisco. So when I had gone to San Francisco, um I met up with Ian again, or Elu J. And like I think we kind of made it. He was working on a song. He was like, "Bruh, you want to help me with this song?" So then like I get on my laptop and I do my little like whatever. He's like, "Bro, this is crazy." Um and yeah, we finished that song, and then like we kind of were just going through all the songs we had. We had like maybe like 6 songs over the few years, and I was like, "Bro, we should just like make something. Like we got good songs here already. We got like nice demos. Like let's just make something. Whatever. Like we'll put it out. Like I'll call Joe right now. We'll get it. We'll get it figured out. Um, and this was like peak pandemic. So like the idea started in like July of 2020. Like right when I was like doing the Trash 4 release. So like I had did that. We did the radio show, whatever. I was like, all right, cool. I'm like freed up. Like let's do it. It started out really with it was supposed to be me, him, and Rom, and and then we had some other people as well like helping us out. But I think Rom had to. I don't know. Rom was in like Korea. He was like producing for like a bunch of other people. So like um there's a few songs with like Ram on it too, but yeah, we really it started with just we kept sending demos back and forth, and I was like, bro, you're like amazing, like can
How
like
was the turnaround for him, like working with the
oh
with the
he's
vocals?
so fast, so
Yeah, I
like
love that. I love
yeah
that.
he's so fast, like like we'd wake up in the morning, um we kind of made a schedule which was pretty cool, like I get up, I'm on the East Coast, so like I get up at about like 9, that would be like 11 or 1, 12, 12, I think 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so like noon for him, that's when he comes back from like his walk or whatever. So yeah, and then we just station at on Zoom and like send the files back and forth, and then like have like the listen to going so we can like kind of like share what we're doing. And we did that for about like from July until October, so about like 3 4 months. um and then yeah, I don't know, it was super organic. Like he would send me like all his ideas, and I'm like, bro, this is the best thing I've heard ever. Like, all right, I'll take it, I'll finish it, and boom, one done, and then we go on to the next and go on to the next. um that was mostly how the project went. Kind of just he'd send his ideas, I'd finish them, and like get features. Like I'd call, and like I'd do my producer thing. We're like, all right, cool. We should get this person on this and blah blah blah. And then I gotta call and figure it out and get their pubs and all that shit. Um, but yeah, it ended up coming out pretty good. Um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, we
Artwork was nasty too. The whole thing was
bro,
so solid.
yeah, man. Yeah, nah, we did a good job, and I think this was also like I think 2020 was probably my busiest year because we did Play Nice. I was doing like other production stuff. I think being at home, and again like the whole conversation of like learning how to make music again, that was like just the perfect timing. I'm kind of just like knocking them all out. We doing like 20 Play Nice songs, and like the Ela J album and the Trashes, and like
Right. It
yeah,
was a good year, man. It was a good year.
it was a good year for sure.
Super good year. And let's talk about the play night stuff real quick too.
Yes, please, bro.
That was crazy, man. That was a fun experience. It seems very similar, probably less intensive than the ELUJ
Yeah, for sure.
process, but like
For sure.
so fun just having like that raw like just passing shit around type of
Yeah.
feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember like hearing some of the early like drums that you were sending and like the early ideas, like man,
Yeah.
just an epic little moment in time. And like yeah,
Yeah,
it
man.
was cool, man. Everybody brought like their own flavor to it, which was nice.
For sure. Yeah, no, that was really fun. And it was so funny, like how I got involved because there was this beat that I had made from a dream. I'm not sure if that happens to you, but like this rarely happens. But I woke up with like literally the song, like the whole complete song was just in like ready to go, and I was like, I gotta get it down. But like it was early, so like I think I just grabbed my phone and made a voice memo real quick, and then went back
Yeah.
to sleep. Um,
Ooh, you know what? Okay, just on that topic real quick.
uh huh.
There's so many times where I'll have something that I can't force myself enough to wake up and actually do the voice
Yep.
recording. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
I always think I'm like I'm gonna remember this, but then I never
You
do.
never do.
But but they're great. Like if I was to like break through that barrier and like
Yeah.
do that little step, oh, so
Oh
many
man.
things I regret for there.
Yeah. No.
But yeah,
Yeah. No. That saved my life, bro. Like that happens to me when I'm sleeping and like when I'm in the shower. Like
mm-hmm.
I'll get the craziest idea, but like I'm in the shower, I can't grab my phone. Like if I don't remember it for the next 5 minutes, it's gone. But hey, that's life. But no, I like the song sounded so vivid. Like I had every detail planned out. So like I woke up, I made the voice memo, went back to sleep, woke up again, uh like maybe like 11 a.m. And I didn't even brush my teeth, bro. Like I literally ran over it and I was just like, all right, we're gonna figure it out. I sat there for maybe about 2 hours, and then like it sound it was so crazy when it sounded exactly like how I dreamt it, and I was like, bro, this is like my first successful time I've ever like made something off the
Translated
voice
that.
memo, and it sounds exactly how I wanted it to sound. Oh man, that was different.
Ooh, that's
That
an
was different.
achievement. That's an achievement right
Bro,
there.
I was so gassed that day. I was like, bro, this is the best beat I've ever made, hands
Which
down.
which one was it? Was it myself?
Yeah, yeah, it was that one. So like I had that beat for like maybe a month, and then I put it on Instagram, and then both I him, he was like, bro, you gotta send me that right now. So then
Killed it. Oh
I
man.
sent it to him. We did the demo. He did like his verse and the hook. And I was like, yo, this is great. And I was like, yo, let's get Xylo on it. He's like, actually, and then he's like, we're actually doing this project. You want to join? I was like, sure.
Oh, that's how it happened. I thought
Yeah.
Monty hit you.
No.
Oh
No.
wow, it's through Bowtie, through Will.
Yeah. Shout out Will, man. He's great.
Shout out
I love
Will.
Will.
He's a hard man. He's one of those, speaking of like quick turnaround people.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
shoot that man
he works
something.
fast.
Yeah, it's like within 30 minutes. I feel like he's
Yeah,
all time
he's on it.
high productivity
Yeah, man.
and kills it on a multitude of instruments too. Like
Yep. Yo, he's good. So like he added like some more guitars to the beat, but like I was like, yo, this sounds so complete now. Like I know you just added like 2 layers of guitar, but like you made it sound even better. So then we got Z on it, and then he was like, yeah, we're actually doing this thing. Monty started it called Play Nice. Are you interested? I was like, yeah, sure. Like this sounds tight. And then he threw me in your group chat, and then Najee gave me all the instructions and shit like that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, you guys had like some crazy ideas in there. I was like, yo, this is like producer heaven. Like I'm gonna take all these and like just make something crazy.
Yeah, man. There's some great shit, and also everybody was like, the beautiful thing was everyone was using what they had. Like Carla didn't have, Xylo didn't have a microphone. Like
Yeah,
she recorded all that off the phone.
fam.
So like
Yeah, which
Yeah.
was crazy, bro.
And,
Crazy.
and Tay Iwar in Nigeria had like the Wi-Fi out there is just like ass,
Yeah.
and getting one thing uploaded like takes hours, so like we really it was like a ragtag group
Yeah, man.
of
It was
musicians just
great.
like really making it work. Yeah.
What
But
what a great moment.
what's that?
What no, what's up? What did you say?
No, that myself song, I remember someone shared it and it was like played on like a porn tape,
Bruh,
like a
no,
sex
yo,
tape on
no, no, no.
Twitter.
It was so fucking. It was hilarious how that happened. Fucking. I found out because Jay Versace texted me. He's like, bro. He's like, bro. Have you seen this? He sends me a Pornhub link. I'm like, bro, talk. What are you sending me? And then I'm like, huh?
It's kind
And
of
then
that's also an achievement,
but
like to make it on that.
but also the craziest part is that in the comments, they're just asking for the song. They're not even like
Right.
like I'm like, bruh, what is life right now? Crazy moment.
Yeah. No, what a record, man. I mean, that record, I mean, it fits that vibe. It fits like all types of vibes. You
Yeah,
could be
man.
making love with someone to like across the gamut,
You
Like,
know?
dang, name something, name something. But yeah, that was a special time, man. And pick up your phone. I mean, you were an
Bruh.
integral piece of sauce to the entire project.
Oh, thank you, man.
It wouldn't have been the same, bro.
What you guys did with pick up the phone was like phenomenal. I mean, I think it's still like the number one song, right?
For sure.
Like
Yeah, it definitely is. It's
like
like, yeah, that record. I just like, I don't know. You probably see it on your end, but there's like that thing is just
it's so steady and consistent. Like it just stays like just keep building the numbers. So like for me, I was like, it's so crazy you guys like built out that whole song from like just an 8 bar loop.
right.
Like just like no stems even, just like here's just an
Right.
8 bar beat.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's
That's
just
all it
crazy.
takes, man. That's all it takes, really.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just that like that vibe to it, and then I mean, with a lot of producers and a lot of creative people, like Tay's like intricate vocal
Yeah.
production,
Mm.
like that man is, and he produces too, but his vocal production is special. Like people, we have a record where people are like asking like if there's tutorials on how he does like his
Yeah,
vocal work.
man.
Like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Just a really diverse little mixtape, if
Yeah,
you
man.
will.
Yeah, man, for sure. Now, I like for me, my favorite is still stuck inside. Cause,
Yeah, stuck in.
cause
Yeah,
like,
that
cause
was.
like I had those stems. I downloaded the stems like I think I saw them late, so I was like, oh, here's like a song that like you guys haven't done yet. Let me just like download it and just see what the fuck what can we make? Because like I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was like it was like an upbeat kind of like Afro beaty Baila funk kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I didn't know it, so like I didn't like I'm just downloading all the stems and like I'm just like, all right, we're just gonna like just
You
throw
flipped
some
it.
shit on it, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
No, you flipped it. And then that key change, I remember specifically. I remember exactly where I was when the latest version, the version that came out to be, when there's like in each verse the
Yeah,
whole key changed
yeah.
in the middle of the song. Like I remember just like, oh man, this is a whole this is an issue with
Right.
how crazy this. Like if I'm feeling like this right now, like this is gonna.
Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
that was purely on accident too.
That's insane.
Like
That's the best. That's the best. Best kind
like
of accident.
yeah, I think I had bounced out two different versions, and then Z and Tay both took the like the other one of each. So like they both sent their shit back in totally different keys. I'm just like, oh shit, oops.
Wow. No,
Yeah, man.
it worked out, man. That whole thing worked out. I'm just like, yeah. still to this day, I think is like that year was really solid, a
For
really solid
sure.
year. Like in
Dude, I'm just trying to get to the next one,
yeah,
like, and
yeah,
like, hopefully we can like do it in person and like just
yeah.
have like a whole like thing about it. Yeah,
Yep,
for
yep,
sure,
yep. Yeah, I think I don't know. We'll see what's happening. Wink, wink to Monty. You know what I
for
mean? But
real.
yeah, but no, man. This was solid, man. I really I learned a lot about you. Like
Oh,
I
thank you,
came
bro.
into this knowing the young man in the 6 year anniversary in the back of the Uber,
Bruh.
and man, it's been good. It's been good to like just be on the peripheral. Like I really respect your work. Like
Oh,
you're an
thank you,
amazing
bro. You
producer.
too. No, 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 no.
Um,
Don't gas
oh
me up,
man,
man.
no, I need
Because
to. This isn't about me, bro. This is about you, man. This is you. I want people to know a little bit more about you, bro. And like I feel honored to kind of see you on your path like this, and to have a deeper conversation beyond the trash compilations and beyond the play nice stuff, and get to
right.
know J.ROBB for J.ROBB.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I feel
Appreciate it.
bad too. I don't have any like producer on this thing to do research, so I thought it was Chicago, but it was Baltimore. So
Oh, no, no, no.
I
Oh, come
fucked
on,
that up,
man.
but no, but it's been good, man, and I really appreciate what do you got coming up in the on the
um,
horizon.
Yo, so like I've literally been so I have this pack that's been floating around that I finally gave in. I was like I'm gonna make a pack and it's going everywhere. Like you like it's all the same pack. It's got a password on it and everything. Like so like I've literally just been sending that around to like different people. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of people this year from again going to the studio, bro. It's so like I cannot stress this enough. Like, if anybody like wants to produce or whatever, like if there's a studio near you, I mean, I'm in LA, so like I'm in like the perfect place to go to the studio. You're gonna meet like anybody really, like just anybody. Like it could be so random. Like like I met Isaiah Rashad like one time, in the studio, just random, and then Colin, the guy who runs the studio, is like, bro, like you guys should come in here and hear and hear his beats. So I'm like, oh shit, all right, cool. I gotta play some shit. And I did, and like that could potentially turn into something. Like we exchanged contact and shit like that. And he's got the pack, like just the pack's got like 130 beats in it, bro.
Oh wow.
From just everything I've made in the past year. Yeah, it's crazy.
Whew.
Like for
I
me,
was gonna
like
ask you when we were talking about the sync thing. Like, what's your graveyard like for beats and ideas? Like, what's that look like on your hard drive? Like, where you at numerically?
so like I'm trying to make it a new habit to bounce out every idea, even if I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how I've gotten to the 130 beat folder. Cause like before, like I'd only bounce out the shit that I like, but
Mm-hmm.
then like you kind of forget like the years worth of like of beats that you have because you're not like bouncing them out. Like you can always build on it later. So I'm definitely trying to do that more. And it's funny, like also when you're making beats, you're kind of in your head about it. So like you're not gonna export everything, but like this was like kind of the test for me. Like, all right, I'm gonna export everything that I've made the past year or the past 2 years. Like we're at 130, like which is crazy. You would never think that you would make that many, but you do. And yeah, we're just gonna bounce it out and we're gonna put it in the pack. And we're gonna send it and we're just gonna see what people pick. And people have been consistently picking the shit that I don't think is gonna work. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? We're just gonna bounce out everything. Cause like there's beats that I've had for years and I'm like, bro, this needs to go to somebody. Like this is it. And every time I play it for somebody, they go, oh, it's cool. And I go, Um but yeah, no, it's the graveyard has turned into Dropbox. So like even if I don't like the beat or if I'm not that much of a fan of it, I'm kind of learning how to like just take myself seriously and be like, all right, but like you're talented enough, so like even if you think it's shit, it's probably really good to somebody else. I mean, I have a whole series that basically tells me that every year. So like I should take I should take heed to like what other people think, and just let it be out. And there's like potential syncs that could come about from that. Like I went to a sync camp and just played just some shit I made just randomly one day, and it fucking made a whole thing out of it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna just let you guys have this beat then, because I forgot about this shit.
Right.
But yeah,
That
man.
that's a good point, man. That's like I think there's moments, at least personally, where I was like, I got thought a little too much into like releasing stuff, and I wasn't releasing things, and then that you kind of have to give to receive too,
Yep.
and I don't consider myself like a perfectionist. Like I think just I like when shit just comes together and like
Yeah.
organically, and I don't think too deep into it most of the time, but it is like something, it's important to like, you know, just do, I think it's just what feels right to you, and just follow that, and not like yeah, I don't know. And like releasing music is one of those things, like even if um you don't have to do anything really at the end of the day, but I think if you find yourself like you can kind of I got into a place where I was like, well, why aren't these things happening like they used to? And I was like, oh, because I haven't released music for
Bruh,
like 4 years.
fam, that's something that my girl tells me all the time. It's like, you know, she's like, when I tell people what you do and they're like, oh shit, like you got any links? She's like, I don't know what link to give them.
Oh
Because
yeah.
she's like, your Spotify does not match you and what you do. It's like a very small little niche pocket of like your
Mhm.
slow R&B songs, but
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
you don't put anything out. So like,
Mhm.
how the fuck is anybody supposed to know or even be able to hear anything? And I'm like, I guess you're right, but I guess in my head it's just like, well, I don't think these things are worthy of being put out in that way or whatever. But like,
Mhm.
I think that's just gotta end, man. Like we're
Right.
in a time where like people just be throwing shit out because like you gotta bank on yourself. Like
Yeah.
you've got to treat these like DSPs not as like your like official
Right.
like this is my like art gallery of like it's just fucking Spotify, bro. Like
Right.
it's SoundCloud just paid. It's paid SoundCloud. So just put the
Mhm.
shit out and just oh well, I mean the no sample thing is obviously a thing, but honestly, people don't give a shit anyway. So like yeah, it's funny you said that because yeah, it's so true. It's completely true, 100%.
Yeah, there's a yeah, a lot of the time, like I think, especially again back to that like child like mentality, or that child spirit, like just releasing stuff just gets it out of you. But
Yeah,
then there's also like the, you can be strategic with it, but I think at the end of the day it's just like what you want to do, like not looking at how other folks are kind of doing things, and just running with what you got. And I
yeah,
think the beautiful thing too, this is another kind of thing I talked to a buddy about recently, was like there's sometimes maybe some of these beats that are not working right now, 3-4 years down the line will be the ones for
right.
that time. And like knowing when to hold off on dropping stuff too is also an art form. Like
Yeah, for sure.
there's some records that I worked on like 2017 that I thought, like I invested money in like strings and into all this. Nothing ever happened with it.
Bro.
4 or
I
5 years later, it's like it's a record for someone else
Yeah.
that loves it, and
Mhm.
like has a vision for it. So like it is kind of an investment too, in like in knowing when to hold stuff,
Yeah.
and versus like letting go. But it's a yeah, you never know till you know, though.
Never know.
Yeah. Well, J.ROBB,
Hey
it's been
man.
a pleasure. I think you look like you're about to go to sleep on me right now.
Oh no, not bro. I just woke up like maybe 4 hours ago. Nah, we're straight.
I'm playing. No, it was really good to talk to you, man, and thank you. I got dad duties to get to.
I feel you, man.
This
Have fun with that, bro.
Thank you, man. It's the best. It's the best.
Yeah,
You'll be there. You'll be there at some point
at
if you
at
want it.
some point in life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Um, yeah, man. Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure.
Of
Always
course.
good vibes, good
Thank
energy.
thank you for like just, having me on and like talking to me and shit about, just shit, bruh.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I don't talk much, but when I get to, like, I'm like, you know, I feel like I have a lot to say. So
For sure, for sure. Yeah, no, you've always come correct every time like I've interacted with you and really appreciate your art too, man. Like
oh,
deeply. So I'm excited to see where you head off to.
thank
Maybe
you,
there might be
man.
some more collaboration stuff in the future. We never know. I don't know. We'll
Look, no,
find out.
we're gonna make it happen. All right. Look,
We'll make
we're gonna do a whole play nice retreat in Monty's
Mexico.
house.
Monty's house. Yeah. Yeah. In London.
Right. Exactly.
There's a studio though. I have been throwing this idea around of a studio in fucking Mexico in the
Yeah.
jungle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll
Whoa.
send you a
Really?
link. I'll send you a link.
Send that.
I think Masego was down there. But I
Ah.
heard about it through Etai who's on the Play Night stuff like
Yeah.
on a couple records. But
Tough.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna send you a link to it.
There we go.
It's
Boom.
it's
Next
perfect.
next spot is set up.
Exactly. It's a studio too. It's not like a B&B. It's like it's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see. You'll see.
For sure. I'm hyped, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm so down. But good to see you, man. And
Good to see you.
let's stay in touch and have a wonderful day down there.
Of course, man. Thank you. Thank you. You too, bro.